So I just did my waterproof boot test using a basin of water and just some tissue paper on the inside stuffed in there, weighed down with some tins of beans, and then to keep the toe down, a couple of cans of beer. And I did not expect this. I expected some leakage, but they've actually filled up with water. Left one not so bad, but like that, oh yeah, like it's and I'm not saying that these boots were never waterproof. They may well have been waterproof, but even if they're Goretex, things can damage footwear. And one of the things I believe is that these materials that are like an open weave can get little bits of grit, stone in there, and then with the flexing of the foot, it'll just go further and further in and then up against the actual membrane itself. You know, things like this, nothing's really going to go through that, or the tougher kind of more leathery looking parts. But the more open the mesh, I think, the more likely it can be damaged, not just from the inside but the outside. Another way that shoes can get damaged is leaving bits of grit, stone inside a piece of footwear that's got inside there, and either you haven't known about it, or you've done the thing that I know that I can do sometimes, where you sort of like hope the little stone goes away of its own accord without having to unlace your boots and take them off and shake that out. So again, it can be happen unknown, but stuff can get in there. Your body weight will push that through the lining and then in through the membrane. Waterproof footwear, I haven't had good experiences with in general. I'm actually going to switch out, for at least as an experiment, to get a pair of trail shoes, get a pair that are supportive enough, at least for the train I'm going to be on, decent tread for the train I'll be on, especially if there's any muddy sections, but wear waterproof socks and see how we get on with those. Yeah, that's quite a surprise, but I'm not saying it's not that they were never waterproof. They may well have been. They're no longer waterproof, and that could have been just from grit getting inside the footwear, or potentially grit getting into the outer parts of the footwear and then working their way in through the membrane just with flexing. Round 2, need to get the Merrell, I think they're Speed Strike, test them out. But is it worthwhile keeping these if they're not waterproof, just for dry days? If they're dry days, then I'd probably prefer not to have waterproof footwear, so I've got more breathability. As much as the outdoor industry promotes breathability in their membranes and coatings, and it's not more breathable than something that doesn't have a membrane or a coating on it. More breathable than a plastic bag, but arguably not much. So I'm sure you know the argument that waterproof footwear, once it does get wet, which it you could argue inevitably will get wet, in the right conditions, that they won't dry. They won't dry. They would need extraordinarily amazing weather for them to dry out. Whereas a pair of waterproof socks, at least I can turn these inside out. You can't turn a waterproof boot inside out. I can turn these inside out, help them air, maybe have a backup. They cost less than waterproof boots. In fact, I might test out some of those very cheap ones off AliExpress or Shein, whatever that site is, £8 apparently. So yeah, these pair of trail shoes. Trail shoes, again, they will get wet. They're not advertising themselves, well, non-waterproof trail shoes, not advertising themselves as being waterproof. They will get wet, but again, there's more chance of them drying out because there's no membrane in them, which is going to limit breathability, not allow airflow to get through and dry them out. And whereas a pair of trail shoes without a waterproof lining, there's a chance of them drying a bit. And if you've got your waterproof socks, put them on, you're fine anyway. So that's the theory, that's the experiment, that's what's going to happen, and it's going to happen on the Wicklow Way. So this is probably what I'm going to be wearing on the Wicklow Way, is either that pair of Ultras, can't remember the model. Or the other pair of Ultras, they're slightly more cushioned. Both 0 drop, which is another experiment for me. And hopefully not these waterproof socks, because these were actually cold weather socks, or thicker than I would like. But having said that, even the other day when I was in wet conditions, they actually kept my feet comfortable. I could tell they're a little bit too much, but actually they did the trick and kept my feet dry.